Deano's garage. Now today we're going to be looking at the YZF750R. Now I'm going to have to come up with a confession here because about a year ago, as you may well know looking at some of the videos that you've seen on my channel, I did have a YZF750R. Only I never kept it. Let's have a look at why the YZF750R is such a great bike.
羽賀選手も一発狙ってましたね、この時はね。
かなりアグレッシブに攻めていきます。軽重戦は2位から。さあ果たしてアーロンスライト、通常のライダーチェンジのためのピットインです。予定通り、何もかも予定通りといった感じであります。氷
Yeah, but that's until we get to the chicane perhaps. Maybe. This is close enough to end in tears, there's no doubting it. Yuichi Takeda is your race leader. We're at the chicane. This is the last lap. I remind you, it's going to be Hagar that wins the Suzuka 8-hour race earlier on in the month. And now he's going to win the first leg here at the Japanese round of World Superbikes. And that's over the line. The Honda is quick enough. I don't think so. It's going to be him, is it? It's not! Oh! Lining up on the grid then, we look across the front row. Simon Crapart is on the outside of the front row. His teammate is on pole position, Akira Yanagawa. The meat in the sandwich are two Yamahas, Wataru Yoshikawa and Noriyuki Hagar. Front row looking absolutely devastated. Those times just fractionally slower. Of course, it's all conjecture at the end of the day. Oh, look at him on the brakes. Just look at him when he counts running down there into this chicane. Oh, superb! And done so neatly, and what a brilliant camera to see it all on. Absolutely outstanding stuff from the Yamaha man there, Noriyuki Hagar. Well, I think Hagar has realised that that race is his. Akira Yanagawa will be mortified.
So, without any more distraction and me waffling, we're going to have a look at what we can do to transform this bike. You can start walking around with me and have a good look at the YZF750R 1993, the original machine. So it is the original 93 model in the pink and white. It has the pearlescent white paint, which you probably can't appreciate from the camera, and on a dull day like this in February. As you may see from where you are now, it is very tired, to say the least. I'm going to unhook the camera and we're going to walk around with the camera and really look at it in some detail and really see where we got to get stuck in today and how we can improve things from the outset. So first up, this screen. Where it sat so long. This is the original screen, which is lovely to see because I mean this is 1993, so we're talking what now, this is 27 years old, this bike, and this is the original screen, but what it is it's frosted from the UV rays. Now I had a little experiment the other day and it took me a couple of minutes to polish that, so we'll have a look at that later when we remove these ugly stickers and then polish the screen and just see how much better we can get that screen. And I think we can save that screen completely and end up with a pretty much almost new looking original screen on the bike, which is quite something. So yeah, so stickers. So this was I forget what it was called actually now that the actual writing's gone. So we'll get this sticker off, we'll use a hairdryer to warm these stickers up, get them nice and warm, and then peel off what we can. I've shown you on previous videos how to remove stickers using hairdryers and then backing it up with old petrol or some sort of solvent. But you've got to be careful that when you use a solvent that you're not damaging plastics or you're not damaging paintwork. So we'll have a look at how we remove those stickers. So let's move down. Headlights are all intact. These aren't rusty, but obviously these screws are rusty, but you know, that's not a problem. Remove them, put some new ones in. Got some hideous bolts sticking out here, God only knows why, so they'll come off, and obviously we'll replace those with these kind of ordinary looking retaining screws. Now here's a thing that you may or may not remember as a motorcyclist: a tax disc. The 30th of the 9th 2012, so this is 8 years old now. Can't remember when we stopped putting tax discs on motorbikes, but kind of nice to see, really, because it kind of shows its originality and that someone's not been messing about with it, but it has just been sat somewhere. So yeah, 8 years old, that tax disc. Looking at some of these things here, you can see you got rust to the heads of some of these bolts. Obviously very rusty here. Without a doubt the pistons of the brakes will be seized, so I'll have to, these have got 6-pot calipers. Now when you have the newer YZFs like the YZF-R1 etc, they have the anodized bit on the back of here, which means you can unscrew that and pop it out and push the pistons through, which is very good. Now if these end up being an absolute how can I put this politely, a bit of a nuisance, let's say, to get these out, then I can always swap these out for the later 6 pots with the blue pots on the back. But I want to keep the originality of this bike if I can. Fork stanchions here, there is a little bit of rust, so maybe the seals have already gone, but I need to polish the stanchions today and then see if I can check whether there's oil in there and whether oil's leaking through the seals or not. But it may be that I need to replace the seals, so there might be a hole. But to be honest, this bike's so old, the forks will have to come out, we'll have to drain the oil, and if I have to take the forks apart and then obviously change the seals and dust seals, then so be it. Oddly, on this bike, you may notice this if you're a bit of an aficionado with 80s 90s motorcycles, this bike should not have black wheels. The original YZFs had white pearlescent paint with white wheels, never seen it with black wheels, so unsure why that is. Maybe someone just fancied black wheels, maybe they were painted black, maybe they took them off of another machine. Bit odd, but doesn't bother me. I've already bought the white paint to paint these wheels, so that's just something I like doing. I love painting stuff, I like making things look brand new from something that looks old and scabby. So the tyres are shot on these. There's no valve actually on this front tyre. I tried to pump it up last night and there's not even a valve in that wheel poking through. So the tyres are so old they'll have to come off. It's a shame because the actual tread of the tyres are very good. I think they're probably Bridgestones, but they're so old that rubber won't be good now, so those tyres will have to come off and be replaced with new, and then when I do that I'll spray those wheels white. Damage. Now I think the only real damage, I mean you get things like this here. I mean this is, like I say, a 27-year-old machine. If you get something like that, it's had 7 owners from new, this bike, which is not a lot, but something like that is hardly a big deal. Now this is a little bit of a clue. Whenever you look at machines and you go around and you look at a bike somewhere and you think, oh, I might buy this bike, I don't know. Indicators. Now these aren't the original indicators, they're too small, so this bike has fallen down the road sometime and probably lost an indicator. Another sure thing is these little bores. Look at the bores, look for scars and scratches and scuffs. That's got a little scuff on it, and then look at the end of here. So little scuff there, replaced indicator. That tells me that sometime it fell, and maybe that's why this fairing's cracked here, and in here it's suffered something, whether something come up underneath and hit this, which is possible. Could have been going down the road somewhere, hit something that come up, cracked that plastic and cracked this fairing here. Nothing to do with an actual crash or anything, but this kind of indicates other things. Right, now inside here, the light's not great, I know, but all of the engine block is really furry, very furry. Now when you look at the frame, when we clean this today, the frame is like new. There's no sort of lacquer peeling off of this or anodizing or whatever. You know, you've got all of this bit here, it's all in as new condition, really, just needs a clean. But all of the engine block, as you can see, this green and white fur, all the alley engine block is all furred up. Now you might think, my god, that looks horrendous, why is he even going to bother with that? But if you again look back at that BMW that I bought, and that was sat somewhere, someone hadn't touched it for years, and I took that BMW engine and then I just kind of got all this off, polished it up, and it will come back looking pretty good again. I mean, will I take this engine out and spray all of that silver? No. If you look at this silver paint, the original silver paint is absolutely lovely. This is what I'm talking about when I say about quality of build from Yamaha. All this looks great. This looks great. It's just the engine block wasn't protected with a lacquer or whatever they needed to do to stop that furring when it's just sat there and no one's ever cleaned it. The radiator paint, that looks pretty good. I've seen some bikes a lot newer than this and all of that radiator paint's all flaking off, so even that looks good. The forks, they're kind of like a brown anodizing to these forks. They may come up really nice. We'll have a look. But there's no dents to the tank. Now you might think, what's that sticker there? You're right. Yamaha, this sticker shouldn't be on a YZF750. So that sticker will come off today. That's just been added. Someone who liked stickers got carried away with this and this and this and this. And the Bridgestone here, I hate. When I get a bike that looks original, I want it to be as original. So all the stickers that shouldn't be on here will be coming off. Mirrors, look at these mirrors. Green, horrible looking. But again, when you look at the paint on that bike there, on that mirror, it's not all flaking off. Now that is aluminium underneath there. Normally, I've seen bikes 10 years old that have had all of this paint break off and flake off, and it's all the furry aluminium underneath that's pushed it away. That hasn't done that, and this is 27 years old. So again, we may be able to get this back to white, and if we can't, we'll do what we can and we'll spray the back of that white to sort it out. As I say, with the tank appears to have no dents or scratches or anything on it. That's very important to me. When I go and buy a motorcycle and it's a metal tank, you don't want the tank to be rusty, you don't want paint flaking off of it. Most commonly you will see paint flaking off of bits underneath here, and then the water's sort of getting up underneath and it starts to blister and bubble. I mean, I can just about see some tiny rusting on the very edge of that. 27 years old and sat in someone's garden probably since that tax disc ran out for 8 years. Stickers, nice original stickers. Always good to see that they're original stickers, because it means of all the 7 owners, no one has taken it upon themselves to start ripping stickers off and messing about with things. I'm going to take these off because, you know, as you can see, they don't look good. They got to come off now, but it does show originality. The seat's absolutely shot. Where it's sat in the sun and the cold, it just gets hard. I mean, that is as hard as you like now, that seat. So that'll come off. The foam underneath may be alright. I've already purchased some new seat covering, and we'll do that in another video indoors in the warm and dry of a winter's evening. So this will be covered, this will be recovered. But yeah, that pad there is absolutely shot away. Now, it should have a rear solo seat unit on the back of there. I don't know, I'm pretty sure all of them would have had that solo seat unit on the back of that rear seat. It looks the dogs to me when you've got that rear seat unit on it. I've been looking for originals over the last week, but I can't find any, and there are others available, so I may resort to having to put a modern day sort of glass fibre one over the top, spray it pearlescent white, and then carry that blue line that goes there, and then it runs up it follows that line and runs up like that and then fades away just as it comes down and fades away there. So that may be something I'll have to do if I can't find an original replacement. Right, let's carry on. We've got something here. It looks like maybe someone's either put this, what looks like a bit of carbon sticker. It's bizarre, this stuff. It's the same as what's on this tank. These things are hideous. I absolutely detest these sorts of things. Now, Luckily on this one it seems like it's a soft sort of sticker. On the previous YZF750 someone actually put a proper carbon fibre, it was like a shell, same sort of size and shape as this, and what it does, because it's a shell, it pushes in and it actually started cutting into the paint and made this mark all the way around it when I took it off. We may find that underneath there is something that's hidden that I go, oh dear, no wonder they put that on there. And I'm hoping when we peel this off it's lovely paint like this and there's nothing untoward underneath that. As I was saying with this, it looks like maybe this cracks or doesn't, it pulls apart or something. It's actually meant to have that sort of split between it. It is two halves of, you know, the side fairings on the rear, but it looks like they might have put that on there to try and keep it together for some reason, so I might have to fix something underneath there. Nothing looks bad underneath here. Like I say, the tyres as you can see with the tread pattern there, you know, the tyres are really good. It looks like someone got pretty much new rubber on this, and then I think the story is that their insurance ran out and then they just didn't replace their insurance. Again, rusting to some of the fixtures and fittings. Let's have a look down here. You can see that bracket that holds the rear caliper on is furry. That will come off and then I'll clean all that up. Again, the black wheels, exhaust. This is obviously a replacement exhaust, as you would expect after 27 years. If you found a bike with an original exhaust, it's going to be very rare and very low miles. It's rusty under here, but if I can salvage that exhaust, then I'll do that. Rub it down, rub this down, clean it up, spray it black, and then put it back on. The shock is shot, the shot shock. On these bikes, I actually told a little lie on my previous one, because I said that YZF750Rs came with Öhlins as standard on the rear, Öhlins suspension. Well, that isn't the case. They put Öhlins on them in the later sort of 94, 95 models. But no rusting again up on the tank, another hideous sticker. On these bikes, as you can see from here, you have a hydraulic clutch. Now this is obviously not meant to be like that, so something down here is not right, and that's the hydraulic pipe there for the clutch system there. Now I did notice there was a bit of hydraulic fluid leaking out of there, so almost certainly I'll be replacing that hydraulic pipe there and then see whether there's a problem there or whether that just pops out and springs back out, and then that may sort that problem out. Anything else? Well, hopefully not. There's no cracks or anything this side. There is an odd bit of whatever that is, some sort of sticker. I'd imagine when I take that off there's hiding something, but we'll see what that is. That's the original YZF X-Up sticker there, obviously, and then they've added these other hideous things, so I'll get that off today. But you can see on this fork, quite often when a bike sits in someone's garden or something, the bike leans one way and the water will run down and it will cause more rusting on one side of the bike than it will the other. I saw that with that BMW. Now this stanchion here has got rust spots all over it and probably won't clear up to the point where these forks can operate without just destroying the sill, even if you replace it with a new one straight away. But we'll see what we can do with that. We might be able to rescue that. It is sometimes possible. What looks like big massive blisters of rust, you'll be surprised with a little bit of very fine, and when I say fine I mean like 2,500 grit sandpaper and some Autosol will remove that, clean it up, and you have no problems. So as you can see, I mean, these look like modern day forks really. You've got this lovely anodizing, and that anodizing is still good today, so that's held up really well. It's just the chrome on the stanchion. But other than that, there's a tiny little mark there that'll just touch over with a bit of touch-up paint. So you can see what I mean by the actual paintwork and the bodywork. It's not horrendous. That's what drew me to this. If you've got cracks and original fairings missing, these things are going to set you back a lot of money, and you're not going to replace them really without spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds. So this bike hasn't got that. It hasn't got dents in the tank. It hasn't got a rusty tank. I don't know what it's like inside. That could be another problem, but from the outside this bike is not a big deal. We're going to get on and do a lot of things today and really make a difference just by cleaning it up, and then we'll remove all these stickers and I'll show you how I do that. But we're going to make a big difference today, just making this sort of instantly look a whole lot better. So anyway, let's crack on and get some hot water on this and start cleaning, and we'll see how we get on from there.